Let's get into the other big story that we continue to monitor. Iran announcing overnight that the political leader of Hamas was killed in Tehran.
So that announced assassination, this morning announcement, increasing tensions between Israel and the rest of the Middle East, and in fact the United States as well, since the United States is a backer of Israel.
Right.
We know Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was just here meeting with leaders last week here in this country. To better understand exactly how we got to this point, let's bring in Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger. Josh, you know, you and I have talked several times off camera about this situation. You've led our coverage there with the Israel-Hamas war. You were just there in that area. What is the feeling on the ground, especially with the news that happened overnight? I mean, it really seems like there are these increased concerns of something boiling over, even more so than it already is.
You're absolutely right, Mike. It's a really scary time right now, especially when you're watching it from 6,500 miles away here in New York. I will tell you, the situation right now in Tel Aviv, most likely it's 5:37 in the evening on a weekday. The work day is winding down. People are at the beach. People are at happy hour. The ethos in Israel has always been to just live. And that is what has been happening there, even in the face of these escalating tensions. You know, we were there back in April when there was the last big dust-up with Iran, and Iran was saber-rattling that they were about to, retaliate against a separate incident that involved Israel. It was life as usual. Suddenly, Iran actually made good on its promise. They fired more than 300 projectiles, including more than 100 ballistic missiles at Israel. We were there at the time. People took cover. It was a scary night. The next morning, they went to work. They went to the beach. And I think that's kind of this fatalistic sort of worldview that a lot of people have, especially originally born Israelis have, that they've lived through a lot of conflicts. They'll live through this one, too.
And we know that there's a lot of born Israelis who live here in New York City. So when we think back here at home and all the division that this conflict has caused, the protests, how do you think this latest assassination could be impacting relations and feelings here in New York?
Well, look, I think it's just, Charlene, it's just an incredibly tense time all around. Here in New York, obviously there's going to be the same level of tensions that we've seen because there's this intense fighting that continues in Gaza. That, of course, is how this started. The hostages are still not home. And now there's been this ongoing back and forth tit for tat across the northern border between Israel and Hezbollah, which is the terrorist organization backed by Iran that controls southern Lebanon. And that, of course, is where this most recent dust up came from, because a rocket that came from southern Lebanon that belonged to Hezbollah hit a group of children on a field in northern Israel. Those children, by the way, were Israeli Arabs, but they are Israelis, and that's what this most recent retaliation has been about. So, I think it's going to be really difficult here in New York and around the world. But I'll also point out, Charlene, in Israel, as blasé as people might be, they go to the beach, they kind of live as they want to live. There's a growing, simmering level of discontent with Benjamin Netanyahu and with this war effort. As I said, the hostages are not home. They see the collateral damage in Gaza. They see what's going on in the north with Hezbollah, and they see the reputation of their country in the toilet around the world. And this is it's not sustainable, is how a lot of people see it. And so now, as they go into another potential provocation of Iran, I think a lot of people are going to be taking note of where things stand, perhaps not as much for their personal safety as for just the existence of the state of Israel big picture.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, they're living in the middle of that right now. We just kind of see the video. Josh, it's kind of a personal question for you because you've spent so much time there. The only thing I feel like that can keep us from escalating this into a major thing is a goodwill, or the desire for people to not have it, leaders, to not have this go any bigger. Do you feel like there's that feeling that nobody wants this to go bigger? I mean, you've been there more than I have.
Sam, that's a really good point. Every Saturday night at the end of Shabbat, the Jewish Sabbath, tens of thousands of Israelis from all walks of life, they gather at a square in Tel Aviv, and they protest and they want Netanyahu out. I think there is a strong sense, not among all Israelis, but among many, especially secular Israelis who do make up a majority of the country, that their leaders are not looking at this the way you're thinking about it, Sam, but they want this to end, that this is sort of kind of an endless cycle of war and of retribution. And at the end of the day, the hostages are at home and people are pretty upset and they feel like this just continues to escalate. And you do hope that someone will, cooler heads will prevail and try to de-escalate this situation. But every week it seems like something else happens that seems to make it worse.
I love having your perspective, and thank you so much.
Josh, thank you.
Thank you.